All right, so just wants to look at a couple of verses really this evening. If we look at the first two verses of Isaiah chapter 57, and just look at that and kind of think of some of the similarities we see today. At the end of Isaiah chapter 56, the Lord speaks of Israel's leaders and how corrupt they are and selfish. And he calls them greedy dogs and shepherds without understanding, and says that each one of them is looking for their own gain, their own profit. And in the last verse of that chapter, chapter 56, it says that basically that they believe they will continue on in their corruption and in their ways, and there will be no consequence for it. And they expect every day to continue to allow them to keep doing these things and be in this way. Then, in Isaiah chapter 57, verses 1 and 2, which the title I had there comes right out of verse 2 here. But Isaiah chapter 57, verses 1 and 2, "The righteous perishes, and no man takes it to heart. Merciful men are taken away, while no one considers that the righteous is taken away from evil. He shall enter into peace, they shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness." So the righteous, God's people, they die, they disappear, or they die off, they become smaller in number, and people do not recognize the significance of it. When the number of the righteous in society dwindle, there's several layers to this, but I'm getting at this one thing. When the numbers of the righteous in society get smaller, you get a more corrupt society, and God's judgment is not far behind. Without God's people, there's no one to warn those that remain. And again, if we look here, merciful people, again, those following God, are removed from society, this life. And no one understands or notices because they do not acknowledge God. And God's people are being removed from evil, from calamity, from distress. In other words, God is gathering his people home, so they're not caught in the evil of the world, or they're not caught in an evil circumstance or in his judgment. And we even see some of this in Revelation. If you think about, there's the first resurrection, and all his people are taken. But God is protecting his children, even as he prepares to judge the nation, in this case, if we look at this specifically, talking about Israel. But we know there is a judgment to come in the world in the future. The Lord will return, and there will be a judgment again. So, verse 2 tells us we shall enter into peace. And this peace is it's that shalom. It's the word they use, shalom. And it is a complete, safe, happy peace. It's a completely healthy, safe peace, full of goodness, nothing bad. And we would think of that as heavenly peace, God's peace. We shall rest in our beds. Now, the literal word here does mean bed, or somewhere to lie down, or a couch. But figuratively also it means the grave or our deathbed. In other words, the Lord takes us to our death in this life in righteous peace. It's in the assurance of Jesus' righteousness, Christ's righteousness, right? That's our promise. And this is a mercy and a blessing that we can avoid evil times and enter into the Lord's eternal peace and love. So this was just a quick thought. So until the Lord returns and death is no more, remember these things. If we look at 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8, we are confident, yes, well pleased rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. And Philippians chapter 1, verse 21, for to me to live is Christ, and we know that means a life of Christ-like living, and to die is gain, to be with the Lord, to be in heaven. So, in closing, I was hoping this would be a reassuring reminder of God's promise and protection and love to us. It's not that we want to die and leave loved ones or anything like that, but we know that the next life is so much better than this life. There's just no comparison. Heaven, time, all that time, eternity with the Lord, that's what matters. So if you don't know that tonight, if you don't know that you are going to that next life, that you're not clothed in Jesus' righteousness, then if you're unsure about that, just please let us know and we'd help you with that. If you've strayed or if you need to repent or if there's anything else we could help you with, just please come forward as we stand and sing.